Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. NFL Free Agency 2024 Most Improved Teams include Raiders, Bears, Falcons. Many NFL teams improved after the first wave of free agency, and they did it in a variety of ways. For example, the Chicago Bears traded players and spent money on top free agents. They even traded away one of their best players to make room for an intriguing quarterback from USC. Well, that's what everyone is assuming, at least. And that player the Bears traded made the Pittsburgh Steelers stronger. Many teams made moves with the 2024 NFL Draft in mind, while others went all in on veterans with the hopes of becoming Super Bowl contenders. The Houston Texans are one of those teams, becoming a trendy pick to possibly upset the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. Here are the 8 teams that improved the most after the first week of NFL free agency. Remember, most improved teams, not the best teams. I wanted to rank the Steelers much higher because they got better at the most important position, but there are unknowns with the arrivals of Wilson and Fields. Wilson will reportedly start the offseason workouts and training camp as QB1, which seems like a mistake after 2 subpar seasons with the Broncos. Fields offers the most upside, but he hasn't been as consistent a passer as Wilson. If Fields finds consistency and wins the job over Wilson, perhaps this number 8 ranking will look silly later this year. There are also unknowns with Queen, the former 2020 first-round pick coming off a breakout season after 3 quiet seasons to start his career with the Ravens. Queen improved once Roquan Smith and former defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald arrived in Baltimore. Time will tell if Queen can be the top inside linebacker on a team and play up to his 3-year, $41 million contract. He could succeed playing behind edge rushers T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. Pittsburgh found a starting cornerback opposite Joey Porter Jr. after trading wide receiver Deontay Johnson to the Panthers for Jackson, who has started 76 games in his 6-year career. For starters, I'm not a fan of the lucrative long-term contract the Titans agreed to with Ridley, for years, $92 million, but his arrival made the Titans better in the short term. Ridley will be tough to keep tabs on for opposing defenses if DeAndre Hopkins continues to play at a high level. Ridley also fills a need because 2022 first-round pick Treylon Burks hasn't found his footing in the NFL. There were other options for adding wide receiver depth, but that's a different story. Ridley's arrival should help second-year quarterback Will Levis, too. There's also a case to be made that the Titans overpaid for Cushenberry, for years, $50 million, but he was the top center on the market, and it's never a bad idea to splurge on rugged offensive linemen. Tennessee added a versatile playmaker in Pollard after agreeing to a 3-year, $24 million deal, which was more than the 2-year, $16 million contract Derrick Henry got from the Baltimore Ravens. But Pollard is 4 years younger than the 30-year-old Henry and offers more as a pass catcher. The arrivals of Pollard, Cushenberry, and Ridley gives new coach Brian Callahan plenty to work with. He set up well to form a dynamic offensive scheme for Levis. First call, Mason Rudolph's thoughts on leaving Pittsburgh, Steelers scouting WRs. Thursday's first call reveals Mason Rudolph's farewell note to Pittsburgh. We have Mike Tomlin's latest pro day destination. Potential draftees at wide receiver for the Steelers are coming into focus. And LeBron James sent something special to the Duquesne basketball team in advance of their NCAA tournament game in Omaha. If Mason Rudolph is at all bitter about the Steelers going in a different direction at quarterback this offseason, or about anything else that happened during his time in Pittsburgh, he isn't showing it. Not long after signing a contract to leave for Tennessee in free agency last week, Rudolph posted this farewell to Pittsburgh and the Steelers organization on Instagram. Rudolph signed a 1-year, $3.62 million contract with the Titans on Wednesday. He will go there and compete with Will Levis for the starting spot. Rudolph, 28, spent 6 seasons with the Steelers and appeared to be in the mix to return for at least a 7th at the start of free agency. But then the Steelers inked Russell Wilson to a contract, and it appeared that Rudolph would be no better than the number 3 QB behind him and Kenny Pickett. But then Pickett was traded to Philadelphia 2 days after Rudolph went to Nashville. Subsequently, the Steelers traded for Justin Fields. The Steelers brass is no stranger to pro days in the SEC. Mason Rudolph breaks silence after Steelers exit. Quarterback Mason Rudolph was the last departing member of the 2018 draft class for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rudolph signed a 1-year deal with the Tennessee Titans in NFL free agency. But Rudolph didn't leave Pittsburgh without saying goodbye. He posted a long farewell message on his Instagram account on March 20th. For the past 6 years, it has been a privilege to be part of the Pittsburgh community and represent the Pittsburgh Steelers, Rudolph wrote in an Instagram post. To my teammates, coaches, staff, Art Rooney, the Rooney family, Thomas Tull, Larry Paul, and the rest of the Steelers organization, thank you for changing my life forever 6 years ago when you gave me the opportunity to wear the black and gold. To the fans, your love and passion for the team is what makes it so special to play here. I will never forget playing in front of Yins one final time this past December. All the best. Rudolph experienced a rough start to his NFL career in Pittsburgh. Then for the span of nearly 4 seasons, he barely played. But Rudolph ended his Steelers tenure on a high note, leading the team on a 3-game winning streak to end the 2023 regular season. Thanks to that run, the Steelers earned the number 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. Rudolph completed 74.3% of his passes for an average of 9.7 yards per attempt. He also had 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in 4 appearances last season. It's hard to imagine a classier goodbye from Rudolph, who went through plenty of adversity with the Steelers. Much to the dismay of Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers drafted Rudolph in the 3rd round of the 2018 NFL Draft. But with Roethlisberger still in his prime, the Steelers didn't place a high priority on developing Rudolph during his rookie season. As the team's number 3 quarterback in 2018, Rudolph didn't receive many practice repetitions. The Steelers also didn't have a quarterbacks coach to tutor Rudolph. In 2019, Rudolph was rushed into the starting lineup when Roethlisberger suffered an elbow injury during Week 2. Rudolph went 5-3 as a starter in 2019, but Mike Tomlin benched him for Duck Hodges during his 8th start. Rudolph played well in his Week 16 return, but he exited the game with an injury. Once Roethlisberger returned in 2020, Rudolph made just 6 appearances over the next 3 seasons. But Rudolph came back to the Steelers on a 1-year deal last offseason. As he did for nearly every game in 2022, Rudolph continued to serve as Pittsburgh's emergency quarterback until Kenny Pickett needed ankle surgery in December. Then with Mitch Trubisky struggling, Rudolph entered the lineup in Week 15 and made his first start in 2 years the following week. That was his final game at Acrisure Stadium as a member of the Steelers. To join the Titans, Rudolph agreed to a contract that includes $2.7 million guaranteed. Rudolph also received a $1.35 million signing bonus. The contract includes incentives as well. Rudolph will earn $10,000 per game that he is on the active roster. The deal also had a $750,000 playtime incentive. Second-round quarterback Will Levis made 9 starts during his rookie season last year. He threw 8 touchdowns versus 4 interceptions, but completed only 58.4% of his passes. Rudolph will likely serve as Levis' backup, but he could also receive the opportunity to compete for the starting job this offseason. Rudolph is 8-4-1 in his career as an NFL starter. He threw 19 touchdowns and 11 interceptions in 21 games with the Steelers. With his efficient performances at the end of the 2023 regular season, Rudolph raised his yards per attempt career average to 6.7. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation Mason Rudolph? Leave your opinion in the comments.